2 or 3.
Okay.
Activate the Rapid Response Network.
Mhm. So I'd like to welcome everyone to the Find Your Way March Collaborative Meeting, 9 to 25. So thanks for everyone being here. Is it okay if I just go over a few notes at this point in time? Great. So we're gonna just go over a few little housekeeping. And I'd just like to also welcome the youth leads this evening. Tonight we will have Sophia will be co-facilitating this meeting with me. This meeting will be recorded and will be made available to view. Spanish translation is provided. Please click on the interpretation button on the bottom right and choose Spanish. Para esas personas que necesitan, hay traducción en español y en el chat se puso las instrucciones para todos poder tener interpretación. Please stay muted during the meeting until the announcement portion. Use chat to participate in discussion, enter questions, enter info on events and opportunities. And at this time, I'd like to turn it over to Sophia.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Esmeralda. I am one of the Find Your Way co-leads. I am a senior at Redwood, and I'm so happy to welcome you to our third collaborative meeting of the school year. The theme for this meeting is life skills, where we are focusing on key life skills for youth to have. Also, like Esmeralda mentioned, Spanish translation is available if you click on the bottom right for interpretation and click on Spanish. And also to all youth that are Find Your Way scholarship recipients, please make sure to fill out the survey at the end of the meeting. This survey is open to everyone as well, and your feedback is really valued and important. And now we are thrilled to welcome some amazing speakers to talk about finance skills and emotional intelligence. Today we have Balance and World Savvy. And then finally, we will also be sharing updates and allow for community announcements at the end. And then before we introduce our speakers, we would like to do some quick announcements. So here are some of our upcoming events. We have Find Your Way in Friends on March 13th from 5:30 to 7. It's a great opportunity for youth to be able to network and meet more organizations and find out more. And then also, we have the May Mental Health Art and Film Showcase. This will be May 18th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. And please feel free also to sign up for workshops up until then. We'll bring all the materials, and please, again, just let us know if you're interested. And then also, if you have any questions generally, in this meeting, please feel free to put them in the chat and we will respond, or also you can wait towards the end of the meeting to ask. Now I will pass it over to Balance.
Hello, everyone. My name is Laura Brescher, and I am the Community Outreach Manager for Balance Financial Fitness. We are here today to talk about a fantastic benefit that you all should be taking advantage of, which is access to free financial education through our program. Balance is a financial education nonprofit, and we can give you information about your finances in many different ways. We have online resources with articles and podcasts and life kits and all of these different things that you can access yourself. But most importantly, what we have is one-to-one financial coaching. And the reason why we want to be here today to talk to you about this is because when it comes to finding your way as a young person, there's so many questions about how you're going to start your financial journey. And so we're going to kind of go over who we are at Balance and what services we have available to you. But what we really want to do is hear from you about things that you might be interested in learning about, because next month we will be holding a workshop. So just a little bit of an agenda here. So we're going to talk a little bit about Balance. Then we're going to talk about our counseling overview with a very special testimonial today from a personal friend to one and all on this call today. And then I'm happy to take any questions that you might have. But before we get into the agenda, why is it important at this age to be thinking about finances? And that's because when you have control of your finances, it can really unlock doors for you with your future. And one of those ways is through your credit report and credit score. So there may be questions that you have around there. Some of you may be graduating high school or college or looking into that. And you might be thinking about your GPA and how that's going to unlock doors for you as you continue your educational journey. And your credit score and credit report is sort of like your GPA as an adult. It's how people make judgments about you to decide if they're going to give you a loan and at what sort of interest rate they're going to give you a loan or a credit card. Sometimes if you're looking to rent an apartment or get a job, they're going to look at your credit report and credit score. And so if you have questions just about that, that's one portion of your finances. We can have a workshop for you about that. You can talk to one of our coaches about that as well. But I just wanted to give that as an example of one of the many ways that you can really make how you handle your finances work for your benefit as you move forward in life. So a little bit about Balance. Next slide, please. So we are a nonprofit and we have been around since 1969. That's 56 years that we've been doing this. And as the financial outlook changes, so does the way that we work with people and coach them. So we really want to meet you where you're at and find out what your life goals are and help you come up with a plan to meet those goals through your finances. We are a HUD approved nationwide intermediary, which means that we can actually act as a third party advocate on your behalf and reach out to other agencies when maybe you've gotten into some trouble or you're asking for something, maybe lowering a credit card interest rate, or maybe you have some parking bills that are unpaid and you want to see how you can clear that off in an easy manner. And we can sometimes act as a third party intermediary for you in those conversations. So next slide, please. So how do we do that? So we have a hotline. You are all going to be getting information on how to contact Balance directly. Our counseling is confidential, and 6 days a week, our counselors are available to talk to you. This is a free service for you to use. So please take advantage of it. And it's not a situation where you talk to a coach once and that's it. You know, we answer your questions and send you on your way. We build a relationship with you. So when you contact us, you actually create a profile in our system, and you can go in there and schedule additional sessions with your coaches. You can look at your action plan. You can look at your credit report and score. And we don't just have our services available in English. We actually have them available in Spanish, Tagalog, Cantonese, Mandarin, and we have a language line that translates for you. Now, let's say that you have very specific questions about housing issues. We have certified counselors who can help you with housing. And something that may be really of interest to you is the Student Loan Empowerment Network. So we have certified coaches who can talk to you about student loans, getting student loans, managing the current student loans that you have, paying off past student loans. We can help you with a plan for that. And again, all of these services are free of charge. Before I move forward, I am going to ask if there are any questions or if we're seeing any interest in particular areas of finances that people might have.
I have a quick question. Is there an age limit for using this service?
Perfect question. Is there an age limit for using this service? No, we like to say that we can help anyone from 9 years old to 99 years old. We can help families. So if you want to talk to a coach as a family, we can do that. Maybe you have a parent or a caretaker at home who may not be able to advocate for themselves and you want to contact a coach on their behalf, you can do that as well. We help people from all different sort of walks of life, from those who may be unfortunately facing unhoused situation, all the way up to lawyers and doctors and mayors of cities. We have helped everyone because everyone has questions about their finances, and we are here to help you with that. Other questions?
Yes, I like to know the age range of your largest participants or the most participants that you have. Is there, kind of like a group or an age group that you feel is like the most that access your services?
Great question. So the age range, typically like 21 to 50, so we have a wide span of age ranges, but we are happy to help, like I said, especially helping those who are just starting out with their finances. For instance, one thing that I always tell young people is before you start out in a job or going to school or what have you, to check your credit report. Even if you feel like, oh, I've never had a credit card, there's no way that I have a credit history. You never know if someone has unfortunately opened credit in your name without your knowledge and is using your information fraudulently. If that happens, that is not going to end things for you. That's why we're here. So we can help you understand what is not your information and how you can get that information removed from your credit report so that you can clean up your credit and move on with your life. And unfortunately, statistics show that a lot of times the most likely people to commit fraud with a person are friends and family members. So we definitely want to take a look at that, and we can definitely do that with you and give you peace of mind that that information can be removed. Great question. Other questions?
There is another question in the chat, and the question is, can you help a young person open a checking account? Why is that important and how to do it?
This is such a great question. So why is it important to have a checking account? A checking account is going to be your first foray into money management. So once you have a checking account and a savings account, that's a great way that you can start budgeting, because especially with online banking now, you can really see where you're spending your money and how you're spending your money. And you can work with one of our coaches to talk about if there's any behaviors that you want to change. We cannot help you open a checking account. That's something you'd have to do on your own. But what we can do is we can tell you all of the different kinds of checking accounts that are out there, whether it's a money market checking account or a checking account without a debit card attached to it, a checking account with a debit card attached to it. and why it's so important to get that relationship started with a financial institution, because once you've shown that you can responsibly manage a checking account, that's your pathway towards a secured credit card, and then towards credit cards, auto loans, home loans, all of that. And we can help you along the way with all of those things.
Other question would be, how important is a credit card? And does Balance teach how best to manage credit?
Great question. So a credit card is a really great way that you can build up your credit so that you can use it towards things like auto loans, home loans, and really being able to purchase those things that maybe you can't fully pay for right now, but you will be able to pay for in installments and build your credit at the same time. And we can absolutely work with you to come up with a plan to manage that. The best way that you can use a credit card is using it only to pay for what you can afford and paying it off in full every month. We know that that might not be the most realistic thing for all, but we can help get you to a place where you can responsibly use credit, build your credit score up so that you can have a low interest rate credit card, and you can also be able to purchase those big purchases.
Thank you. Along those lines, I imagine you probably have a lot of young adults coming to you, with kind of out of control credit. How do you approach to support, someone with maybe, a large credit, and really trying to figure out how best to pay that down and how to get that manageable for themselves?
Absolutely. So all of our counselors are certified and they can help you with the debt management. So we can come up with a plan for you as far as paying down credit cards. We don't administer debt management plans, which is something we can get into further down the line, but there are consolidated ways that you can pay off if you're really in debt with credit cards, how you can pay off all of your credit cards over an amount of time. And we can act as your third party intermediary in working with the credit companies to come up with a payment plan.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Laura,
So-
one other
yes.
question in the chat. Do you guys
Yeah.
help with the FAFSA at all? I know you
Oh.
said loans, but do you touch that FAFSA at all?
So that's a great question. So through our Student Loan Empowerment Network, they will have a baseline of understanding about FAFSA. So if you are in a situation where you have FAFSA and you have student loans, we can talk about all that. Basically, the more that you share with us and the better picture that we get of your finances, the more we can come in and help you with those things. Yeah.
Great,
Great.
thank
And
you.
let's go to the next slide. So this is just a thank you. This is how you can contact me directly. You will be getting information about the Student Loan Empowerment Network and how to contact Balance. We're going to have a direct hotline that we'll be sharing with you very soon. There is a testimonial on this slide, but what I'd love to do is I'd love to invite Gabby to give a testimonial, as she has met with one of our financial coaches, and she can talk a bit about her experience.
Yeah, thank you so much, Laura. Hi everyone. As you know, my name is Gabby. I actually connected with Laura a while ago at one of our work events, and the topic of finances has just been something that, hugely has just been around shame. I think, within my age group of being a transitional age youth, it's not something that's necessarily, talked about a lot. And of course, a lot of people within my age group are at different stages in life in terms of income as well. And while I've had basic understanding of, what a credit score is and all of that stuff, managing my finances, especially as I move up within my career, was just very overwhelming. And I didn't necessarily know what to prioritize with my money besides, like, of course, normal savings. But it's what I've learned in my sessions with my coach is that it's easy to spend money, but wealth takes time. And so I think starting now has, lifted a huge shame off of me because with my financial coach, they really just kind of, did it all in terms of mapping out like how much I'm spending per month, and, what I can do with my net savings and building out my goals, and especially with working around, credit card debt and again, how to work with that. And nowhere throughout my whole session did I feel even more shameful. If anything, I felt so relieved in being able to talk it out with somebody who, again, is really there to support you. And it's just awesome that this is a free service. And if anything, my only regret is that I wish I did it sooner. Um, so yeah. Huge shout out to Balance and thank you again, Laura, for coming up here and sharing about the amazing work you all do.
Thank you so much, Gabby. And something that you said is so important, which is you felt shame and you feel like you can't talk to your friends about your finances. And that's something that we at Balance really want to take the stigma away from. We want you to talk with your friends about finances. All of us need to use money in order to live our lives. And so it shouldn't be something shameful. It should actually be something that you and your friends can talk about and help each other through and maybe say, yeah, I talked to my balance coach and they gave me this really awesome suggestion, and I'm going to share that suggestion with you. So, for instance, what we like to say is, if all you can save right now is $1 a week, great, save that dollar a week because next year it might be $5 a week. And the year after that, it might be $20 a week. And really getting into that habit of just putting money away and just putting more money away as you grow in your finances and maybe your paycheck gets a little bigger. You know, um, our lifestyles don't have to change drastically when we get a big influx of money. We can use that to fund our future, and whatever that may be, buying a home one day, retirement, college savings for your children. So we can talk to you about all of that. And what we'll do after this is we're going to kind of figure out where the biggest interest lies. I think it's heading towards credit, but we'll see. And then we'll be announcing the topic of next month's workshop. And I hope to see all of you there. And I will be sharing personal stories about my financial journey and maybe some mistakes I've made along the way. Our coaches are not perfect people either. And we all share our own financial journeys with you to let you know that you're not alone in maybe some past mistakes that you made. We can clean up those mistakes with you, and we can let you know about mistakes that we've overcome as well to come out on the other side. So I can't wait to see all of you next month. Thank you so much for having me out here today. This has been really wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have a date for that? Laura, there's some people in the chat asking. Gabby, I guess I should turn to you, not to Laura. Do we have that scheduled, Gabby? Okay, so we will inform everyone when that's gonna be.
Probably April, I'm guessing.
Okay, fabulous.
Yeah.
Great.
I have a quick comment and maybe a kind of follow-up question first. Lara, thank you so much for the work that you do. It's just amazing to hear the support that you're offering and that you are able to offer it for free to people that are in need. I didn't grow up in this country. I grew up in Germany, where the financial sense of safety is more present amongst youth. And when I moved to the States, I could feel the embodied anxiety of people, that they don't feel held or supported by the larger environment. And then I used to work for university in admissions, and the financial concern oftentimes led people to study something that they were not passionate about, but it would lead to more financial reward, which was a very difficult conversation to have, because my intuition was to support their passion, but I also don't want to send them into a path that has no financial, sort of feedback. And so it's kind of a bigger question. I feel like we are growing up in a capitalist society that is so focused on consuming that I feel I want to remember what activities there are that don't cost any money. The one time in my life when I really I was broke, and I had to really reevaluate my life as to what I can do that doesn't. I had this feeling as soon as I leave the house, the world is sucking on my finances. So hiking, going on bike rides, having conversations with people in the park, they were like, suddenly there were all these beautiful activities that I almost forgot because we are so geared towards meeting in a restaurant and then paying each $50 for, a meal that was, semi-good. So I struggled with the fact that everything is so expensive. So my real question is there any consideration of the inner wealth that people feel, the inner resilience, the inner valuing of people, that they can feel wealthy inside, even if it is taking a walk in a park or something like that.
Well, thank you, Richard, for that wonderful commentary and that question. And yeah, absolutely. That's sort of the way that we approach finances, is that we want to look at your spending habits and also that feeling of needing to spend money and talk about that. So our sessions aren't just looking at numbers and going through budgets. It's really about talking with you and about your concerns about that and finding alternative ways that you can live your life without spending a bunch of money. And the best way that we can do that is by identifying and defining what your goals are, what you want to do with your life, and always keeping that in the back of your mind. So, even if it's creating a vision board, we might say that, or like having a picture of your financial goal on your wallet or credit card so that when you whip it out to like buy jeans that you don't really need, you can say, oh no, I really want to buy a new car in 3 years. And so we actually do talk to you about those psychological factors that go into spending, and we have workshop topics on that. So that could be an interesting workshop as well. So thank you for that commentary. That was really great.
Thank you. It just quickly reminds me of our relationship, right, with our finances and with money. And what does that really look like? And yeah, so it's really such an important topic. And thank you.
Yes, again, like Esmeralda was saying, thank you so much. Next, I am going to introduce World Savvy with Marley and Disha.
Everyone. So I'm here with Disha and with Harbin, and we're gonna get started. But first off, I am going to share my screen. Great. Assuming everyone can see it. Okay, so we're going to start with some really quick introductions. This is World Savvy. My name is Marley Wertheimer. I'm the Director of K-12 Outreach and Engagement.
I'm Harbin Porter. I'm the Regional Executive Director for the West for World Savvy.
Hi, I'm Disha DeValker, and I'm a senior at Sanborn High School, and I'm a student advisor on the West Coast advisory team.
Thank you. All right, so just a really quick overview about World Savvy. We are a national nonprofit. We work with educators, school leaders, and community members to reimagine learning for the 21st century. Our goal is to create future-ready schools where young folks can develop skills and dispositions that are needed to thrive in this ever-changing globe in which we live. So you're going to see a lot of direct connections to the topic of today's collaborative meeting, which is life skills. So, I bet everyone on this call, everyone on the Zoom can see that our world is changing fast. And we're going to do kind of a fun little interactive exercise to provide some examples of how much the world has changed in the past 25 years, just 25 years. So for each statement, feel free to raise your hand, your digital hand, if this statement applies to you. And if it doesn't apply to you, just stay kind of where you're at. All right. Maybe you recognize these folks. Maybe you don't. Hopefully you do. At the top, we have Selena Gomez, Oscar nominated recording artist. Below, we have LeBron James, speaks for himself, very, very gifted athlete. And this is what they look like in the year 2025. This is, however, how they look in the year 2000, so 25 years ago. And that's going to be our little bit of a barometer, just measuring time here, 25 years ago and today. So in the year 2025, I would venture to say that I use the internet every day. We're using it right now. I work in a digital space. I am glued to my phone, if I'm being honest. And let's see, does that apply to you guys as well? Raise your hand if that applies to you as well. Don't be shy. This statistic definitely took me by surprise at first, but like we really use the internet every second. All right. In the year 2000, just 29% of Americans went online in a typical day. So this is a huge difference between, I'd say 100% of the people on this call and 100% of people in general using the internet every single day. All right, next one. In the year 2025, I personally listen to music via Spotify or a similar music platform every day. I used to use Apple Music, now I use Spotify, but that wasn't always the case. Raise your hand. Yeah, everybody here uses, yep, Spotify or something to stream music. Great. Okay. Year 2000, we listened to the radio or one CD on repeat. We burned CDs. It was a really different time. And since the advent of Spotify and streaming services, not only has the way we access music changed, so has the music industry itself, how folks are paid, how folks are compensated, new artists having a chance to be heard, all of that. Okay, one last example. Let's just say today, I have used ChatGPT or another AI tool. Raise your hand. Wow, today. Okay. Me too. Me too. Doing some auto responses on Gmail, that kind of thing. We appreciate ChatGPT, etc. Okay. And then 25 years ago, let's see what was going on. I'm sorry, what now? Chat, GPT, AI, artificial intelligence. That was something we saw in like sci-fi movies for sure, or The Terminator. It was not something that we thought we'd have access to and use every day. So just some examples of how different things were 25 years ago. Here are a few things that, as a result of all these technological advances are true today. Because we have access to so much information, there's also a rise of misinformation and disinformation. I would say for this statistic, which is from National Public Radio, 64% of young people have more fear than hope about the future of democracy in the United States. We have experienced and likely will experience again complex global challenges such as climate change, global conflict, and health crises. And then also 1 in 5 adolescents experience depression and anxiety. So a lot of these statistics are a little bit bleak, but they're also the reality that many of the folks in this Zoom in your school communities are facing. And it also reflects how fast everything is changing in the past 25 years. So the world has changed a lot in the past 25 years, but school looks pretty much the same as it always has. When I walk through a classroom today, it looks really similar to the classroom that I graduated from, not quite 25 years ago, but getting a little too close for comfort to 25 years ago. So just kind of want to set the tone for World Savvy's work, and I'm going to pass this off to Harbin, who's going to talk about some of the skills that students need to acquire in order to thrive in this changing environment.
Thank you, Marley. And if you want to click through so those our bullets are on the slide, that would be great. So just this past couple months ago, this year, the World Economic Forum, the WEF, released their Future of Jobs report. And I want to highlight that of the skills that are core to success in 2025 and beyond, how many people here might think that they are technical skills that are needed? Anyone? No. Fantastic. Because they're actually core competencies. They are the essential skills, what we would call soft skills in the past, skills that are encompassed in our World Savvy's global competence matrix we will get into in a minute, that are truly what employers are looking for. As we're talking about life skills and our rapidly changing world, we also need to be talking about the way that workforce is keeping pace or propelling this transformation, and how school and our K-12 system needs to step up and continue to support students so that they thrive in our ever-changing world. So there's a couple of maybe 3 core things that came out of this report that I want to highlight for everyone here today. One is the urgency of skills transformation. The workforce, just like our world, is changing at an unprecedented pace. 40% of the current skill sets that we all have in whatever positions we hold or whatever positions we will graduate into will be outdated by 2030, which is startling. So that means that millions of workers, people in this room and in our communities at large, across industries, will need to upskill or reskill to stay relevant. And that shift is not solely about technology, although AI is set to be a massive disruptor across industries. It's also about how we think, how we adapt, and how we lead. Secondly, the skills that employers value most. Analytical thinking is the most in-demand skill, with 70% of companies identifying it as essential and lacking qualified candidates that exemplify that core competency. Again, those technical skills will not be enough. Employers are prioritizing things like resilience and flexibility, agility, leadership, and the ability to collaborate and lead in complex environments. Thirdly, that skills gap is the biggest barrier to business transformation. So the skills gap is what employers are saying is their biggest challenge right now in adapting to the future. It's not just a workforce issue, this is a business imperative. Companies are investing in closing these gaps, and World Savvy is similarly tackling this challenge head on by ensuring that students develop the skills that they need, not just for today's jobs, but for the dynamic careers of their future. Just as business is transforming to keep pace, we must support schools to do the same thing. So how do we prepare students for a future that's evolving so quickly? How can businesses and schools and communities collaborate to bridge that gap? And that's what we can focus on today together in this room. I want to highlight this quote quickly. It is no longer good enough for schools to send out students who know what to do, who know how to do what they were taught. The modern world needs citizens who can do what they were not taught. I need to make my screen a little bit bigger because that quote was not legible for me. Okay, this is a really important quote. And how many of you think that your education system currently is preparing you in this way? We can comment in the chat. Feel free. All right, we're gonna move to, mine didn't, neither did mine, Nancy, neither did mine. We're gonna move to the Global Competence Matrix. I referenced this earlier. I referenced this earlier, but when we think about the core competencies and skills that the World Economic Forum highlighted, these are embedded in World Savvy's North Star, our global competence matrix. As an organization, World Savvy's been around for over 20 years. We have really honed this matrix to encompass the behaviors, the skills, the values and attitudes and dispositions that we believe are essential to support young people to not just navigate a changing world, but to thrive in it. So I want to take a moment to look at our matrix. There's also a QR code on the previous screen, and we can send that out in follow-up. You can access this matrix for free. It is available.
I'll throw the link in the chat right now, and then we'll have this up on the screen. Let's see if I can multitask, actually. One
core skill. Let's do it. So take a moment. I know we don't have a ton of time here, but I want you to take a moment, please, to look at this matrix. Look at our core concepts, the behaviors, the values and attitudes, and the skills that make up together collectively this global competence umbrella. And I want you to reflect on what you think is the unsung hero among these behaviors, values, attitudes, and skills. Take a moment and then we're going to share out. Okay, anyone, please jump in. What is an unsung hero that you see here?
I like the one that says finds comfort with ambiguity and unfamiliar situations.
Yeah, that's a big one. Certainly in this moment in time when there is quite a bit of uncertainty.
I find demonstrating humility is a very rare quality that is supported in schools.
Absolutely. And I see in the chat, one's own culture and history is key to understanding one's relationship to others. Yes, an essential way that World Savvy orients our work in a first year of partnership. These were great suggestions and reflections. And what I want to highlight here for you is that oftentimes when people think about K-12 education, these are the things that they assume are byproducts of curriculum, byproducts of the way that we impart knowledge in a classroom setting. But really, these core competencies must be intentionally embedded into our systems, into our teaching practices, into the way that we engage students in conversation, in discourse, and in their learning. They do not happen by accident, right? So this is what World Savvy does in our partnership. I have chatted a lot with you today about the changing world we're in, as has Marley, and why the competencies of our matrix are so essential and crucial to creating a school system that is relevant, that is engaging, that is keeping pace with modern transformation. And the story that we tell ourselves, just as somebody noted around one's own culture and identity, is significant in our understanding of how to facilitate this transformation. But to further demonstrate this, I want to pass the mic to Disha, our student advisory board member, who's going to share her own story of work with World Savvy and the impact that this work has had on her.
Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be here presenting with World Savvy. They're such amazing people to be working with. And so just to dive into my experience with them, I'm going to go a little out of order with the bullet points on the screen, but I was first introduced to World Savvy when I was invited to an AI in Education conference at the Google campus in over here. And at this conference, I got to engage with and hear from World Savvy's team and such a diverse and complex community of individuals from all ages, where I really got to learn about what AI really looks like in the world today, World Savvy's work with reshaping classrooms, and I got to understand more about what AI could look like in educational spaces, and some creative applications we could use. And why this event was so impactful for me and why I'm here today, speaking on the behalf of World Savvy, is because it really impacted me and moved me and helped me realize some of the core issues I'd been seeing in my own education that I didn't realize before. So within school, I've noticed myself the loss of creativity, engagement, critical thinking that exists among a lot of students. You don't really see your 17-year-old excited to go to high school every day, connecting what they've learned in class to the real world and excited for their careers and are confident that they can apply their education to their real life. And so this really was concerning to me. And on top of this, with AI, like what Marley and Harbin have been saying, I noticed that school was staying a constant when we've been really needing to move. And what was even more concerning is that fears around AI, especially among staff, caused us to react by moving backwards. So going from digital tests and assignments to going to handwritten, standardized multiple choice exams, which is honestly so shocking and saddening to me. And so now I'm really excited to be a student advisor on the West Coast Advisory Committee, working to help with these decisions to reshape our school communities so that we're evolving as the world does, and so that we're producing these bright students to go out into the world with global competence. So yeah.
And we are so thrilled to have Disha on our board and to have Disha's presence at the event that she mentioned. I'm just going to jump in here. Sorry, I'm going off script. But Disha's presence at the Google event. So World Savvy hosted an event in partnership with Google to focus on the future of K-12 education and AI. And Disha and her peers who attended they blew us away. They were so insightful. They were so compelling. The questions that they asked were brilliant. They elevated the conversation in a way that left people's jaws on the floor, truly. And they facilitated student-led conversations at these roundtables with some of the most prominent CEOs and ed tech professionals and philanthropists in the Bay Area. And I want to highlight this because this is the power of student voice. This is the power of inviting students to not just have a seat at the table, but to shine, to direct the table. One of the CEOs who came to the event was so taken by the conversation that transpired that she went back to her company and amended their AI policy based on a conversation that she had at that Google event with Disha and other high schoolers who attended. So never underestimate the power of your action, of your voice, of your commitment. And that's the kind of budding leadership and truly exemplary leadership that we all need to be investing in right now, and that World Savvy really champions.
Thank you. I'm going to keep on moving. So, we're coming to a close with our presentation about global competence skills and World Savvy, but just to talk a little bit briefly about what we do and how we achieve it. In order to prepare leaders such as Disha, such as yourselves to thrive, not just in classrooms today, but in our changing landscape, these are kind of four frameworks that we approach school partnership with: cultivating connection, promoting active in learning through inquiry, fostering knowledge to action, and then creating a culture of innovation inside of schools. And, the way in which we do that are through events such as the Critical Conversation at Google. That's part of our community engagement, our Changemaker Hubs, which are day-long events that are very similar. We also have district and strategic initiatives working with school leadership to help, rethink what does modern leadership look like during our complex times. And then we also provide comprehensive school partnerships where we partner with a specific school site and provide one-to-one coaching with every teacher at that site. And then I'm going to pass the mic back to Disha before we wrap up for questions.
Yeah, so one thing about my experience with World Savvy is that I didn't stop at the AI in Education conference. I really took it upon myself to bring it back to my school's principal and then go ahead and present it at my district's board meeting, where I was able to help set a vision for AI in education for the Nevada Unified School District. And so that just really shows how each of you can really take a role, especially if you're moved and touched by this conversation and feel impacted and feel heard. I really encourage you to try these ways of becoming involved and taking some action towards spreading the message. And so some examples are introducing World Savvy to your school's principal, the school's administration. Like what I did, joining our mailing list, which I think there's a question on how to do that if Harbin or Marley wants to answer.
You can reach out to us via email. We're going to share our emails at the end of the presentation. So if you, for all of these, but if you want to join our mailing list, reach out to us, please.
Yeah.
You can also sign up on our website for our newsletter, but best to communicate directly with one of us.
Yeah, so that's a really great way to stay updated with our work. You can also become a student ambassador like me, and be a part of the awesome decision making that happens and really guide where our work goes. And of course, I think one of the best things to do is join us for a World Savvy event where you get to be immersed with such a diverse and impactful community, build those connections, and really unlock new perspectives to continue reshaping education.
Thank you so much, Disha. I want to respond to a question in the chat around, is there a program for teachers? And Disha mentioned an event that we hosted that was student-led. We do student-facing work. And the core of World Savvy's work is support for teachers, because we believe that changing teaching practice unlocks much of what we just discussed today. Those partnerships come to fruition through district partnerships, through individual school site partnerships. As Disha mentioned, bringing World Savvy to her school is because of a conversation that she brought to her principal. So there are a lot of ways to get involved. There are a lot of ways to bring World Savvy to your school community. And reach out to me and Marley, and we can figure out what the best approach is for you.
Yeah. I think when I was in high school, it would have been a really big challenge for me to connect, somebody I had met to my school administrator. I don't necessarily know if I had that relationship with that person, but now I see how big of a difference it can make when you connect people. It can be really filling for your own cup and also help your community out. So thank you, Disha, for being just like so awesome and willing to do that. I could go on and on. And then also feel free to reach out to us directly and let us know, if you have questions, if you want to get involved. I just noticed my email address is not this, so I'll update that. But everyone else's is correct, I think. Feel free to, shout out if you have more questions or throw them in the chat.
Yeah, there is a question. How do you suggest we connect with World Savvy? Just see the link
Yeah,
to
well,
our principal and mention the intent.
yeah, that would be great, but also connecting us via email, doing an introduction. Hi, this is Marley or this is Harbin from World Savvy. I attended a presentation they led. I think it could be really great at our school. Like, doing an introduction can be really powerful because, it's kind of that second step, making that introduction. It feels very warm, very welcoming.
I think that's a great idea to also mention that they saw you present, because that's a natural next step. That's a natural next step. And then I can guarantee for any student that Marley will be right on that. So you don't need to worry. There's not going to be a moment to waste, and she will respond. So,
oh my God, that's such a compliment.
no, you are. You're on it.
This is really a great conversation. I think I myself have, I wish it was new news, but it's really not. And I really wonder, how you're able to connect, I think, the dots through policy, because it is really not only just, I think it's really important the individual, right, approaches, but it really is about, policy when we talk about, educators, and they're feeling like, they're just, burning out because, again, they understand the importance of those soft skills that you so clearly identify, right?
Yeah.
So how does it look within the policy front and with the work that you're trying to really drive and
Yeah. We think of policy from a few different perspectives and systems change work from a few different perspectives. I'll highlight a project that we did with Denver Public Schools that we're currently engaged in. A few years back, we started a partnership with them where we did something called a leadership cohort. And that was our first foray into partnership with this particular district, because they were experiencing what you just said, burnout and uncertainty, and principals wearing thousands of hats, and needing a level of support and attention and camaraderie and collaboration that World Savvy brought to the table. So we assembled a group of 30 some principals to engage in this year-long collaborative learning and leadership capacity building program, essentially. We coupled that with conversations with the superintendent. So when we're thinking about this, we're never thinking about this work as a flash in the pan or a one-time thing. We're thinking about how do we build momentum for enduring, sustainable, durable change at the district level. Now, simultaneously, we also are engaged in policy conversations at the state level. We're not just, keeping our eye on what is happening at the state level. There are campaigns, there are things, there's, upswells of discourse that is directly aligned with the work that World Savvy is doing, and in some cases not. But our CEO, his name is Hamza Warfik. He is formerly the senior-most Somali official with the Biden administration previously, and has done a lot of work with workforce in the state of Minnesota where he lives. His acumen when it comes to thinking about policy change at a state level is pretty remarkable. And so that is to say that we are having conversations with special committees. We're having conversations at the Capitol to try and affect some of this change. We are also looking to district leaders to embed some of this into their systems. We do things like profile of a graduate, for example, that codifies it at a site level, a school site level, or at a district level. And then as we continue to drill down, we get into teacher practice.
Yeah.
We think about it as an ecosystem.
Yeah, I want to add
Great.
kind of
Thank
one
you.
more thing. That was such a great question. When Disha introduced us to her principal, we also ended up speaking to the superintendent in Novato, and she was really interested in our work because in Novato, there's an initiative to center student voice more into policy and into just basically everything that's happening at the site level. And that's something that World Savvy does really well, is help create opportunities to center student voice in decision making. And so that, is the approach that, we are helping to support in Novato. And that is also a broader, definitely challenge and goal in Marin County. So if that's something that your community wants to do more of, center student voice, that's something that we can definitely help with in an authentic way.
Thank you.
Yeah, great question. All right, I think we're over time a little bit, but we could go on with questions if you'd like.
Is there any other questions?
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you so much for having us. Thank you, Disha, for presenting with us.
Thanks
And
for having me.
our pleasure. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and pass it back to you.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much. That was such a informative and just amazing presentation. Now to everyone, please come off mute and share any announcements you have one at a time. Feel free to raise your hand and I will call on you. Or you can just drop it in the chat. This includes any events, meetings, services, or job openings that you'd like to promote in Marin County, and we will share a follow-up email for this meeting for all that information as well. And if anyone would like to go first, feel free. And then also just real quick, please, once again, remember to complete the survey.
And let's take the slide down so we could see faces. Would be great. Thank you.
Faces are always nice.
Faces are always nice. That's right.
Someone's asking about the survey.
Oh, I think that's me. Sorry. I'm supposed to put that in the
Okay.
chat.
Oh,
It's
sorry.
coming. It's coming.
Here it is.
I can't see. Oh, Sophia's got her hand up, and Morgan.
I was about to say, yeah, I just saw your hand first. Please share.
Hi, I'm Sophia. I'm here with my volunteer Stephanie, and we are part of the LOST team. We do postvention support work here in Marin County, and postvention is part of suicide prevention, and it's what happens after there's a suicide loss, after there's a suicide attempt, what we do is we connect survivors to resources and services. Stephanie and I run a support group for youth and young adults who've been impacted by a suicide loss. It's ongoing. It's taken us a couple of years to grow this very slowly, one step at a time. And my dog is here and it's dinner time, so she's going to push my hands up. But I just want to say thank you for the presentations. I thought they were amazing, and I just want to highlight that that principle of resiliency and, not really having all the answers right away, but being okay, knowing that in that discomfort of curiosity and knowing that you will get to the answer. And what we do in our groups is we just kind of foster conversations. It's really about the participants. And we love facilitating these groups. So the youth group, we have mostly 20-year-olds and 20 to 26-year-olds in our group right now. So, if anybody in this group or that of anybody who's been impacted by a suicide loss, they're welcome to join the group at any time. It happens twice a month on Zoom, and I'll put the information in the chat. And we also have a suicide attempt survivor group, which happens 2 or 3 times a year, and that is for adults 18 and older. In each space, it's just really a safe space for people to share their thoughts and feelings in a place where there's no taboo, there's no judgment, there's just open hearts, open minds. So I don't know, Stephanie, do you want to say anything else? Thank you for having us.
No, I think you covered it. And I really enjoyed the presentations today. And this group is incredible. Thank you, everyone who's organizing these meetings. Nancy, great job.
Hey, lots of helpers. Sophia, you want to put your email in the chat?
Great, thank you so much for sharing that. And then next I see Morgan.
Hi everyone. I just wanted to come out here really quick. I'm from Youth Leadership Institute and we host the Marin County Youth Commission. So I wanted to come out here to promote that because our applications are open right now, up until June 1st. And yeah, we are actively recruiting for our next cohort. The Marin County Youth Commission is a publicly appointed group of commissioners. They're appointed by the Board of Supervisors, and they hold meetings open to the public every Wednesday night from 6:30 to 8:30. So if anyone's interested and wants to see what it looks like and yeah, wants to see how a meeting goes, please come out. We are located at 101 Lucas Valley Road. And let's see what else. Yeah, right now we have 5 subcommittees. They are the Alcohol, Tobacco, and Other Drugs Subcommittee, Mental Health, Racial Equity, Education Equity, and Disability Justice. And these subcommittees can change from year to year depending on who's interested in advocating for what and how those groups kind of form in the beginning of the school year. I forgot to say that it goes all school year. And there's a stipend available that anyone can apply for through the county. The amount of it changes from year to year based on what is available on the county level. But yeah, it's really great. It's a great group. I'm the coordinator for the group, and Dishes is on the Alcohol, Tobacco, and Other Drugs Subcommittee. And I'm just really excited to connect with youth all over the county. I think I forgot to say that next year we're trying to aim for 25 youth. So I will put my email in the chat, and is it okay to drop flyers in the chat? I don't want to like overload the chat with a bunch of links to flyers and stuff.
Overload away. We don't care.
And the last 2 things I'll say is our Racial Equity Subcommittee is hosting the Cultural Fusion Fair again this year, which is happening on April 26th at Terra Linda High School. So that'll be really great. There'll be workshops and tablers and food and a panel. And then also, maybe many of you know this as it's in collaboration with Marin 9 to 5 or 9 to 25, sorry, and Find Your Way. But the Wellness Festival will also be happening again this year on April 18th. Right? Does that sound right? Okay. Lots of dates to keep track of. So very similar vibes. It's going to be a great time. We'd love to see all of you there, and please share with anyone who's interested. Disha, I don't know if you want to share anything from your experiences on MCYC, but that's all I have to say. So thanks for having me.
Yeah, definitely. I was just about to talk about that. This is my first year with the Youth Commission, and like Morgan said, I'm on the ATOD subcommittee, and genuinely, it's been the most impactful and exciting thing I've done, really. I am excited every week for our 2-hour meeting on Wednesdays, to work with such a great and supportive and like-minded community of youth, where we really feel so powerful to make the change that we've always been wanting to see. So, if really you have any interest in advocacy, want to learn about it, and want to kind of even get exposure to how our government works, policy, etc., I just truly encourage for you to apply, as soon as possible. It's an amazing opportunity. And transitioning from that, I really wanted to hop on to advertise the second annual One Stride at a Time 5K for Hope, Help, and Recovery. That's happening on May 10th of this year. Nancy, is it okay if I put the registration form in chat? Is it ready? Okay. I really encourage anyone to come and attend. Last year was honestly such an amazing outcome, and we hope to see even more people there. If you have any organizations in the mental health or recovery spaces that would be interested in coming, or if you just have an organization that you'd like to have table there, we are super open to having partners and as many people come and join. And I'll put the link in chat right now.
Actually, you guys, literally this registration just went up like 5 minutes ago. So you could be the first people to register for One Stride at a Time. Just went up. Very exciting.
Yep, I will say it's a great event. Please sign up and go. It's super fun. And next, I will pass on to Barry.
Hello, thank you. Hello, everyone. My name's Barry. I'm a junior at the Branson School, and I'm working as a student and volunteer for the UCSF Brain Change Study. So just to give a brief description of the study, it investigates brain changes in adolescents using MRI imaging before and after a 12-week online training that's focused on mindfulness or psychological education and aimed at improving self-regulation and emotional regulation skills.
Yeah, let me hop into. I'm here with Barry. I'm the study coordinator for the Brain Change Study at UCSF. I don't know if I would be able to share my screen. Is that all right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to show our flyer quickly. So in case anyone's interested or you know any teens in our target demographic, we're looking for 14 to 18-year-olds, including ages 14 and 18, who have some level of elevated depressive symptoms, not necessarily a diagnosis of depression, but just some kind of difficulty with depressive symptoms. And as Barry said, they'll undergo a 12-week training in mindfulness or psychological education and also complete 2 MRI scans before and after the program to kind of establish how the mindfulness is directly affecting these adolescent brains. So it's a very cool project, and we'd love to have your community be involved if possible. Yeah, so I'll put the link to our interest form in the chat. So if you would like to fill it out or you know anyone who could be interested, please share it with them. And I'll also put our study email. So if you have any questions or anything, you can also contact us. Yeah, Barry, did you have anything else to add?
No, yeah, I think that was also basically everything. Yeah.
When does that start?
Yeah.
What's the time frame of you looking for? Because we're happy to send this out and promote it, but what's the time frame for students to contact you?
Yeah,
Sure.
absolutely. That would be great. Thank you. So, this study is run in several cohorts, but we're currently recruiting for a cohort that will start in the end of April, and then it will run in once-a-week classes throughout May, June, and July.
Great. And you have some questions in the chat actually too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Let me see. Let me see. Those are let's
they
see.
want to know about when is the training being held in person or virtually? And then the following question is, what is the time commitment like per week?
Yeah, both great questions. So all of our classes are completed online over Zoom. So it's pretty accessible wherever you live in the Bay Area. The only in-person component is coming 2 times to UCSF Mission Bay to do those MRI scans. But we schedule those around your availability as well. So usually it's pretty accessible to any teens who live in the general Bay Area. And then the other question about time commitments, our classes meet once a week for 90-minute sessions. So for the upcoming cohort, our classes will either be Tuesday afternoons, 4:30 to 6 p.m. or Saturday mornings, 10 to 11:30 a.m. And it's random assignment, so you could be in either the Tuesday or Saturday class, but we can accommodate if you're only available on one of those dates. So don't let that stop you from signing up if you're interested. Yeah, if you have any other questions, please also put them in the chat. I can respond
I
there.
think Richard's got his hand up.
Sure, yeah, Richard, was that a question or a different announcement?
Oh. Can't
Sorry.
hear you.
Yeah, I can't hear you either.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. That it wasn't actually a question. It was just that I also have an announcement.
Okay. Yeah, no worries.
Thank you.
Then
There's also another
I have a
question in the chat.
question.
please, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, gotcha.
I wrote it out, but would you like us to put this poster up at our school? Because I've seen it at the doctor's before, but I think that school is an environment where it would see a lot of exposure.
Yeah, absolutely. If you would be able to, I can get your email in the chat and send you a PDF of the flyer if you're able to put it up that way.
That's great.
And what about
thank
like
you.
social media, like posting the flyer on social media?
Yeah, absolutely. Any way that you're able to promote our study using this flyer has been approved by our IRB, who manages like ethics of the study. So yeah, any way that you're able to promote using this flyer specifically is totally good to go. And we'd appreciate it.
Yeah, we can send that this week. That would be great.
Okay, yeah, that would be awesome. Okay, here I'll put the interest form link in the chat. And then is it Disha? Would you like me to send you the flyer as well?
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. So and then Kate, could you, oh, I see your email too.
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
There
Thank
you
you
go.
so much. That's perfect.
Thank you.
We can send it
Really
out too
good.
with the notes, Tara, when we do the recap of the meeting. We'll send the flyer out as well.
Okay, awesome.
Just in case somebody, yeah, great.
Thank y'all so much.
Mhm.
And Nancy, could you give an email for me to send the flyer to you as well?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah,
Okay.
of course. Happy to be here.
I guess you're not interested in me, but I'd like to do it.
Yeah,
Well,
this
you're
is
getting a big thank you, Nancy.
okay. Well, thank y'all for
Yeah.
your time. We really appreciate it.
Sure.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Richard.
Thank you very much. I just want to say how inspired I am by all of you, the work that you're doing. Our time can feel so depressing, and especially in recent developments politically, I felt many times that almost like it was difficult for me to breathe. And so being here on this call is reinvigorating me in the work that I'm doing, and just wanted to say that it is so good to know that good work is happening, that people have intentions of wanting to help others from the goodness of their heart without looking for necessarily a financial return of it. But it is really what I'm thinking is, what will people say in 1,000 years from now about this time, about us? And I'm wanting to invest our time and energy into this work that we are doing here, this work that you are all offering, that this is also part of the chapter of our time. It's not just a dark age of human suffering and the loss of the qualities that really make life worth living, but it is also there's an underground movement, there's a response that is happening that is worth celebrating. So I want to just take this moment to celebrate all of you. A quick pitch for the nonprofit that I'm working for, which is called Seeds. It was fascinating to hear the language of World Savvy, and I really want to get in touch with all of you to see how the work that we are doing can be in service of what World Savvy is standing for, because we are officially like a educational nonprofit that is bringing in poetry into the classroom, but it is not really about poetry. It is about inner resilience, inner resources, about mental health and well-being. It is about finding that source of wisdom within yourself. It is learning to be flexible, trusting your instinct and your voice. And we have seen the work be extraordinarily effective beyond of my comprehension, that through the lens of poetry, the kids that we work with have found a way to illuminate some aspect of themselves that the traditional educational system, that is often based on worksheets and filling out forms, does not really address. I also want to say that we have a new Lambert Light Fellowship, which is really focusing on empowering young women to live into their passion and learn leadership skills. And so everything that I've heard today is really aligned with what we are hoping to do with our students. And I would love for them to be participating in any workshops and any or, sort of events that you're planning in the future. So I will reach out and see what is coming up, and see how I can link some of the new fellows with the work that you're doing. And yeah, just thank you again, everyone, for the work and for who you are, really.
Richard, I put the website in the chat because we have some interest in pursuing some of those things. And I think Kate's got her hand up. Her hand up.
Yes, I have a question just about I definitely resonate with the mission of what you said about empowering women and their passions. So I was just curious, is that included on the Seeds website? How do we get connected to that specific program? Because I think you said it was a new, I think you called it the Lambert Light program or something. So yeah.
One of our founders, this is in honor of her mother, who left an endowment, and it's been used to start this fellowship. And I put the link in to a page that is also brand new, that has been literally created last night. So check it out, and I'm going to put my email also in here, and let's be in touch.
Love that connection.
Thank you.
What we're all about. That's wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard.
Thank you.
Alexandra?
Oh, sorry.
Hi, I'm Alexandra, and I'm a sophomore at Archie Williams, and I'm also part of Children for Change, a local nonprofit organization. And I want to let everyone know about an upcoming event called the Children for Change Challenge, which is a block party for good. in downtown San Anselmo near the library on Sunday, April 27th. The purpose of the challenge is for students and families to learn from and engage with local nonprofit organizations through many different hands-on activities and ways to get involved in our community to build it stronger. And there will be more information on the Instagram, which I will drop in the chat, and I hope to see people there.
Thank you for that.
Thank
That was
you,
great.
Alexander. And I have to give a big shout out that Find Your Way, We're 925, we had a table there last year for the first time. We loved being there, and that's where we met Seeds and connected with Richard and his colleague there. Also, I don't know if Javier is still with us, but Tay Radio was there too. So I know that we've got a lot of partners on this call that would be happy to join again. It's a great event.
Yeah, it was a great event. Do you think that you could possibly put the flyer in the chat? And no worries if not, but if you could, that would be great.
Yes.
Having trouble putting flyers in the chat, I think is what I heard.
Yeah, it's really weird. It's not letting me, you can only add a Google Drive link. So
But Alexander, if you send it to us, we'll send it out to everybody that attended and more people as well.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
All right, thank you for being here.
Thank you.